Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. Bill Sheridan here with the Maryland Association of CPAs. We're continuing our hunt today for the purpose of the CPA, the why behind the work of this profession. We're talking to CPAs throughout Maryland, asking them to share their stories that illustrate their passion for this profession, what's meaningful about the work that they do and that all CPAs do. And we've got some great insights this week from Christine Aspell. Christine is an audit partner and managing partner of the Baltimore office at KPMG. She is also just wrapping up her year-long stint as chair of the MACPA's board of directors, just a tireless volunteer and advocate for the profession. Her story is an interesting one. She was initially attracted, as so many are, to accounting in school because she says she was good at math. But through another job, learned that she loved building relationships and working with people, and then happily discovered that you can do that in accounting as well. Not only can you do it, but you must do it, right, to be successful. She's got some great insights about that, as well as the value of an accounting background. Just a great conversation this week. Glad that you're here to hear it. Here is Christine Aspell sharing her CPA story.
So I was working through college and I worked at a doctor's office, and I loved what I was doing because I worked at a pediatrician's office, and I would bring in all the patients, bring them into the room, try to make them feel at ease, because a lot of times they were sick or they had, they were getting their physicals. They were, especially if they got a little bit older, you're trying to put them at ease. And I'm in college, so they're probably looking at me like, why are you doing this? But and I love that aspect of it. And I remember thinking, gosh, I'm going to have to do accounting. I'm going to sit behind a desk for the rest of my career. And I really loved doing what I was doing, but I didn't know how you could manage those two. Like where would they connect? But when I got to public accounting, I realized so much of what I loved about what I was doing at the doctor's office was what I ended up doing in public accounting. And that was talking to people and going out and getting information from them in order for us to do our audit. And you quickly realize that they had their own daytime job, and us coming in as auditors, it was part of their job, but it also impacted them getting their regular stuff done. And so you had to figure out, how do you form relationships with these people so they feel they want to help you, that they want to make this as easy as possible. It's not just about demanding something. It was about, how do we create those relationships where we can all work together? And that's what I quickly learned about accounting and what I was doing. And I thought, okay, this is better than I thought. And how do I help people understand that what you're going to be doing in accounting probably isn't, what you thought it was.
Yeah, much like that doctor's office, right? There's a lot of putting people at ease because they don't know what they don't know, and you're kind of guiding them through that process, and helping them see, the story behind the information that they're providing to you. So,
that's right. Yep.
So today, I mean, what do you see as being the purpose or the why behind your work? I mean, what do you accomplish as a CPA?
I've been in the financial services area for all of my career, from banks and broker dealers and asset managers, and I really liked that because I could see what we were doing in the public market and how it impacted. You could see that every day in the newspaper, and it really gave me a sense of, okay, I can see what I'm doing and how it impacts a broader perspective, and how what we do helps provide that confidence of people in the public market, that if they're banking at a certain bank or they want to invest in that bank if they're public, that they can feel comfortable doing so because of what we do. We're making sure that hopefully their money is safe, that they feel comfortable with investing, and not just financial services, but there's broader influence as well. But for me, that was always the why, is how do I help people feel comfortable that what they're doing and where their money is going is safe. So you realize the purpose that we serve when I say we, meaning public accounting, what we do provides a broader, a broader purpose other than I'm just auditing fixed assets or I'm just auditing loans. It really helps you understand that there's a bigger picture and a bigger intent and purpose to what we're doing and why we do it.
There's maybe an aspect of providing peace of mind for folks.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So because everybody can't do what we do, and so they shouldn't have to think about picking up something and feel comfortable because most people don't even probably realize financial statements are out there. I think about my mom and dad and how hard they worked, and they never looked at a financial statement from that perspective as of is it safe to put my money here. They just had a relationship with a bank, right, that they
Mm-hmm.
got comfortable with, and it was about a person, but they didn't look at that bigger picture to say that whole entity, how can I feel comfortable about that? And that's what we do. And you think about all the people out there that probably are very similar to what my mom and dad did and how they approach things. So that's why we're here doing what we do.
That's great. And again, there might be a little bit of repeating here, but what's most gratifying to you about what you do? What inspires you about the work that you do?
There's probably a couple things, but it's being able to work with companies that are of high caliber and they're what they're trying to achieve, um, and how we can work alongside them and do what we do. It's helping people within my within KPMG grow. Um, I think about every day, one of my to dos that never gets checked off is creating a list or group of people behind me that will one day do my job. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so how do we create that future generation of leaders? So that's a to do every day. So I think it's a combination of the people I work with from a client perspective, and then also my own colleagues that has kept me here and given me a purpose to what I do every day.
That's fantastic. Let's say I'm a high school or a college student, kind of struggling to figure out, what do I want to do? What do I want to study? How do I want to spend my life? I mean, what would you tell me about accounting?
So accounting, I believe, teaches you how to think critically. And you may not get that from taking an accounting class and doing your debits and credits and your T accounts, but that's just a baseline understanding of what it is. And it's giving you that knowledge to be able to ask those difficult questions, to be able to ask your client, well, why did you do it this way? And so it teaches you how to think about that in a different way, critically. I've always said that if I was not an auditor, I think I could be a private investigator because it teaches you how to look at something and say that doesn't make sense, and to be able to look at it through a different lens and kind of flip it on its side sometimes and think about it differently. So I would say, again, going back to the question about high school, I think accounting is the language of business. If you're thinking about going into business, and when I was doing recruiting, I always said this too, because I had this thought at one point that, well, maybe I don't want to do accounting. Maybe I want to do something a little different. But I stuck with accounting, and I'm so glad I did because I can do anything in the finance in the business world with an accounting major. You may not be able to be a finance major and do accounting things, but you can
Mm-hmm.
be accounting and do anything in that business world. So it gives you a broad base on which you can build, but it also gives you a very specific skill set and something that is a lifelong opportunity to continue to build and grow. Um, and so I just think it's always going to be a skill that's necessary. You're never going to go wrong with that.
That's a really great point about thinking critically. Who was it? Seth Godin, I think. I don't know if you know the name, but he's a kind of a deep thinker in marketing is his background, but he thinks critically about the future of work and where we're going. And he wrote a book one time where and I'm not sure I agree with everything he said, but he said there's really only a couple of things that young people ought to be studying nowadays, or that we ought to be teaching young people rather. And one of them was how to solve really big problems,
Yep.
solving problems, right? The other one was leadership. He said
Yep.
everything else you can find the answers to on the internet. And reasonable people can disagree about about stuff like that, but his point about leadership and solving problems, I think, is
Yeah.
a really good one. And your point about accounting teaching you how to think critically goes a long way toward beyond just the numbers,
Yeah.
how to look at something and reason and solve problems that other people might not be able to see.
Yeah. And I think it's given me the ability to do a lot of that in my life, whether it's a work related or a personal related. It's almost like you have that logical steps now built into your head of, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and it's not like you're going through that and thinking through it. It just happens now.
Mhm.
uh, I had a bathroom leak, and I was like, okay, I got to do this, and this, and you just execute on it. And I think that's what public accounting has given me, that structure, to do that, and accounting has given me that structure. And it's almost second nature too, that you and I always we've always said that some days we're not just like account or auditors, we're like firefighters. And you're putting out an issue, or a fire, for lack of better words, when your client comes to you with a problem, and you're in your head, you're thinking through, okay, these are the steps we need to walk through. um, and so I don't know if it was always there and accounting helped it, or but I do know that is just kind of built into how I think and how I go about solving a problem, like I said, whether it's work or whether it's personal. But um, so that's really helped me, I think, in life, and get through things, whether it's, like I said, work or personal. um, but I think one of the other things that's helped is being able to approach it in a way that you're not coming across as frantic either, because our clients, if they have a problem, they're already in a panic mode, or a high state of anxiety if there is an issue. And for us to be able to come in and be like, okay, we can help solve this, it gives people peace of mind that they know that there's going to be someone who's going to come in and act in a way that's going to help bring that anxiety down.
Um, when you're not being a CPA, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I have two boys and my husband and a dog, so there's always something to do. My sons are sophomore college and high school,
Oh, nice.
and so it's doing things with them. It's doing things with my husband and as a family. So it's just kind of living and experiencing. But one thing I always love to read, and that's kind of, it's always a good thing. I've done that since I was um, in high school, or grade school. Really, I remember going to the library, getting a big stack of books, and sitting down and reading one whole book till it was done in a day, and maybe more. Um, I also like doing decorating, like doing things in my house,
Hmm.
keeping that up. So that's always kind of what I think of using my other side of my brain. So
Yeah,
I've also done painting. I paint, done some dabbled in some painting. I'm trying to do some more and drawing. So
nice.
things that kind of counterbalance what we perceive probably as the very detailed side, taking a more relaxed approach to that.
You need some of that downtime and
Yep.
the ability to just shut off work and do some stuff for you.
And I've always told people to do, kind of be known for two things, and two good things, not bad things, but one on the technical side. So if somebody said, I have a banking question, I'll go to Christine.
Hmm.
So, okay, you want to have that specialty or that expertise that somebody knows you for, but then also something that refreshes you too,
Hmm. Hmm.
because most people cannot do, I don't think I would be here 33 years if I was all I was doing was reviewing audit work papers. and
That's
doing
right.
audits full time. So to find that thing that refreshes you, at KPMG, I've done a lot of different things. I did recruiting, and that was a great thing because I got to meet with all the college students, go on campus. Um, I was our yeah, I was our primary recruiter for a long time before we hired, so it was kind of my night and weekend job. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, but that gave me a fresh perspective of also being able to share and share my story with the recruits so that
Yep.
they could hear it, but then also to look for people that I knew would complement us and be successful. Um, so I did that. I did teaching. I started our No BRG, and now as an OMP, that brings a different perspective too. So it's being able to find that thing that complements what we do already from a technical standpoint, but also you're able to use a different skill set, and that's the thing that's kind of kept me going. It's that balance that I
Yeah.
really like.
Great stuff there from Christine Aspell. So glad she could take time out of her busy schedule to be here and share her story. We want to hear from you as well. Head on over to macpa.org/y-CPA and share your story with us as we try to offer a little bit of inspiration to the next generation of accounting and finance professionals. So we want to hear what your CPA purpose is. And as always, thanks for joining me. I'll be back next week, more stories to share. Until then, thanks for being here. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.